Hi there, my name's David Coleman. For many years, I've been working with small and medium-sized businesses to help them to grow and thrive. We decided to put together a six-part series called React, Improve, Prosper. And in this series, we've been looking at many aspects of small and medium-sized business and assisting them to ask questions around how the best way for them to come out of the lockdown period through the recent pandemic, and also what to do to kickstart their businesses immediately, to start some revenue immediately, and to look at the future 3, 6, and 12 months and decide how their businesses will look in that period of time. So we're going to go through a little bit of the backstory of where we are today. Today is part 4 of this 6-part series, and today we're going to focus on supply chain and our partners and supply chain. So we'll be looking at those, and I'll give you a summary of what we've been doing through that particular period of time. So welcome today, and I hope you've been enjoying the series. So I'm just going to share my screen with you with the presentation that we currently have. So as I said, our 4-part series or 6-part series, and this is part 4, React, Improve and Prosper. So COVID-19, as you all will be aware, has caused many great disturbance and disruption to many small, large and medium-sized businesses. And business has changed for a lot of us, even from 3 months ago when we started, how we're doing business, how we've conducted business, what we've had to do to create some turnover and some revenue, even through the lockdown period. We've got restaurants doing takeaway and delivery. We've got companies that were in-shop service and now doing online service. We've got delivery services going through the roof, and people are doing a lot of their work online and shopping. So your business might be affected, may have been affected the same way over the last 3 or 4 months. But we're going to have a look at what we've got to do to capture the customer and their changed patterns of behaviour, how we have to make those changes to our business to ensure that we can recapture the customers that we had and possibly take advantage of the opportunities that disruption does occur. Now, this has been one of the greatest disruptions across business and industry ever. And what happens in a disruption is there's opportunity for those who really want to go and take it. So we're going to have a look at that. We're going to do that by analysing where we are, taking action to get going, and planning what the short to medium term future might look like and how you may be able to move your particular business to take advantage. So we've called the first part React. We've had to pivot to the disruption. With no notice, we were in lockdown. What did your business do? How did it manage to survive? Did you manage to keep some revenue going? Are your people working from home? Are you a shop that's had to close down, or a business that's actually had to completely close down because your business or your industry was completely shut because of this? The improve section, we need to take action, and we're going to talk about how we're going to take action to re-kickstart our particular business, what we've got to do to start now in the current circumstances. And we're doing that by analysing different sections of our business to see what's happened. And that starts with the customer. And the customer's buying patterns have changed. And we will see that through how they're travelling or not travelling. The stay-at-home worker is doing less commuting. The less commuting means all those businesses that worker may pass on their way to their commute and no longer have that opportunity to sell product to that particular person. So where are you? If you're a business that's near a commuter hub, or you're a business that's in the city, the numbers of people and opportunities for you have reduced dramatically. So we've got to have a look at what you can do to restart your business now, your revenue now, and become attractive based on those into each of the sections that we're looking at. And then we want to quickly plan and have a look at how we're going to win in the future, how we're going to win new opportunities that are out there. If our current customer numbers have dropped and have changed their buying patterns, what do you have to do to become relevant and to find new customers in a different way? So we're going to look at those, as I said, across all the different areas that we're looking at our business. Small business is the essence to the Australian economy, and we know times have changed. As business owners, we've needed to react and we need to improve to set up for prosperity. Now is the time that you really got to have a good look at your business. If you've been an established business for many, many years, good luck if your business has just turned straight back on. But if you're reaching out into these webinars, I'm sure that there is a change in your business. And we need to analyze that change, have a clear mind onto why that has happened, and a reality check as to what we've got to do to restart that particular business. What you can do now can affect the ability for you to prosper in the future. Now is the time to change up what you're doing and get very excited about it. And we're going to have to push back into that whole reason. So whether you've got an established business or a new business, the whole reason you went into business, small, medium business owners, it's because they've got extraordinary determination. We're going to need your flexibility. We're going to need your persistence on the journey out of lockdown and back into reality and back into normal, or whatever the new normal may be. And so from your journey to recovery, we need you to have those great fortitude that got you to where you are now. And it can be difficult to take those steps back before you move forward, but that's what we're looking to do over this series, is to assist you through those particular challenges. The way we're going to look at this, the recommence phase, we're going to look at 3 actions. We're going to analyze what we're doing. So where is your business now? So when you react, improve, prosper, to find out where your business is now. We're going to be looking at what we've got to do right now. What has happened to your business? We're going to look at what actions in the recommence phase. We're going to look at what actions you can take right now to re-kick off your business in all the different areas, in the 6 different areas of the businesses that we're looking at. And then we're going to look at how you can enhance your business. What changes can you make to your business to grow your business, to take advantage of the disruption that's out there, to recreate yourself and be attractive to potentially a brand new set of customer, because your current customer may no longer be available to you, or you may no longer be in their firing line. So what do we have to do? So we're going to have a look at, for each of the sections that we look, the recommence phase, analyze where we are, how we're going to recommence, and how to enhance what we've done, or where we are. As we said, there were 6 sections of the business that we've been looking at. Part 1 of the 6-part series, we actually did an overview of what we're going to do. And then part 2, we focused on the client customer, and our entire business needs to focus on the changing behaviors of the client or the customer and what has happened to them. And from there, we can reset and refocus all the other avenues that we look at. So it's essential that you go to part 2, have a look at part 2, and really analyze your business through where your customer change is. So have a look at that one, that particular webinar. Part 3 was on cash flow, really important, of course. Where's your money? How much have you got? Where are we going to spend it? How's it going to go? Caution was the word. Get expert advice was the other thing. So all through that webinar, it was about being cautious with your funds and also getting expert advice in helping you place your funds in the right areas to re-kickstart your business. Today, we're going to talk about suppliers and partners and how they've been affected in the with the pandemic and in the lockdown period. And so how that's going to affect them and how their businesses might be affected, which might alter how you do your business or who you work with. We're going to wrap up our next webinar will be a staff and technology combination. And our last one will be a technology and business-based combination. And we know that all those things have changed as well, potentially have changed for what we need to do now. And more importantly, that planning stage. You know, where we are now, we've pivoted. So we've spent a little bit of time on that pivot stage. But it's the recommence. How do we make dollars right now? And how do we actually get going into the future? And what that looks like for your particular business. And for many, many of us, it's going to change. But as I said, today we're looking at suppliers and partners and how that works for us. So let's analyze what's happened to your suppliers through the lockdown period. How has the lockdown period affected your suppliers and your partners? And are their businesses robust enough to support your restart? Many suppliers have suffered as you have. Many suppliers have had to send people home. Everybody has been through the same lockdown rules, laws, and regulations. So what has happened to their supply, to their ability to supply you your products or your services that you need to supply to your customer? And what about their suppliers, and what has happened with their suppliers once again out there? Where does that line go? And the way to do that is to communicate with your supplier. So we're going to have a look at how the lockdowns affected your suppliers and partner. Are their businesses robust enough to support yours and in your restart? And what do you need to change up to allow your business to grow? So what happens next? What do you need to do to make that, that next step? How can those suppliers and partners assist you? How do you know they're going to be the right people? Are they the right people? Do you need to look elsewhere? So we're going to have a look at all of this and just ask questions. So you can go and have a look and ask questions around this. You might need to obtain new service level agreements and even, as I said, changing up suppliers, depending on how you're legally set, but also depending on how their business is running and whether they're able to come back out. And we'll go into that just a little bit further. So our first question is, how secure is your supply chain and where is your business today? So as I said, we're going to look here. We want to find out initially, what do you know about your key suppliers and partners? What do you know about their business? So we're going to find out about that. Do you understand their business model and the viability of their business in the current circumstances? Now, they can be a small supplier, they can be a massive supplier, but they may have some challenges in their own viability at the moment. So, as I said, there's huge industries, that have actually shut and in real trouble with us at the moment. So you've got your travel industry, which is very public, and whole travel industry is really quite shut down. The tourism industry and all the suppliers to the tourism industry are also quite closed. You've got your speaking industry and your events industry. It's just gone. Your holiday and hotels, how have they pivoted? Well, some of those have pivoted because they're actually now looking after people who are in quarantine, and they've managed to survive along those lines on government funds. But, well, what happens to the people who are supplying them if you're in that industry? And if you're part of that supply, what's happened to your end client? How's that changed to what you need from the people in your supply chain? So if you're supplying one of those industries with product and that has stopped, how do you need to pivot to keep going in your business? And do the people who are in your supply chain, to the south of you, how are their businesses changed and what has affected happened? You may look there, they may not be able to come back open. They have been changed dramatically. We are being kept alive at the moment with some really good government subsidies, and part 3 around finance and money went into that. If you want to have a look at all the government subsidies available. However, what happens when all this changes? So how do you understand their business models and their viability? And then looking into the future, what pipelines in that analysis do you need to secure and maybe change up and implement in the future? And do you need some renegotiation, whether it be with a supplier, a contract, how that contract looks, the terms and conditions and costs of that contract, and where legally you're caught with that? So we're just asking questions today for you to go and have a look at how your business may look into the future. As I do quite regularly, take notes. This is where you sit down. We're going to go into the analyze section, where your business is today, and all through each of these webinars and seminars, I want you to take notes down. So you've got an analyze section, a recommence section, and a planning section. And so 3 different sections of notes, so you can drop in each of the webinar sections underneath. Here's our analysis, this is what we've got to do. So at the end, we can bring that all together. So create that document and keep that document, whichever works for you, however you create a document. So in the analyze phase, how secure is your supply chain? So overall, where is your business today? So how has lockdown affected your suppliers and your partners? So what do you know about your suppliers? How much do you know about their business and what has happened? Where are they located? Nationally, which state are they in? And at the moment in Australia, that's very relevant as to their ability to supply you. Are they international? If their supplier is international or their supply chain has international links, how has that affected their ability to supply you with a product? Once again, we look at the customer's demand as to what products will be needed and therefore what supply. So what supply do you need and which products and services do you need, considering your customers' needs may have changed. So all of these things, where they're located, what the type of business there is, how they're looking, how they're planning to come out of lockdown, how does that impact their supply to you? And therefore, how have your suppliers been impacted and how important are they with you? So we're looking at all these particular areas, and the way to do this is now to communicate and do something that you may not have done in a really regular basis, is to go back, ring back in, talk to the people who are your supply and your supply chain, rebuild those relationships. Don't just be the customer getting their salespeople calling you. It's time to go back and analyze what those relationships are like. Are they there? Are they the right people? Do you have the right set of pipeline coming? Is their pipeline and is their supply chain relevant? The only way you can find out is to communicate with them, pick up the phone, talk to them. It's the best way. Yes, you can do email, but really to hear how they are, how their business is. You know what it's like when you're on the phone. If your business is in stress, it's coming, and that's what you want to listen to. It may not be fair, but it's the survival of your business that we're interested in today. And it's so important. If you can't get the right product regularly enough at the right price to service the customer's new needs, your business is in jeopardy. So you need to be able to pivot with the right people. And so have a look at all that, and we can analyze that when we come to the end of the webinar series as to what we have to do next. I hope that makes sense. Are their businesses robust enough to support your restart? So we'll analyze their businesses. Who and where have your operations been impacted? So we want to have a look at where you've been impacted, and then what is currently happening with your supply of that product to where you've been impacted. So you may have a supplier who can supply you with a whole lot of stuff that your customer no longer needs. However, your customer may want a specific type of item, or your competitors' customers, more importantly, may want a specific type of item. So you want to find a supplier who can supply that. And as we said in part 2 of the webinar series, what have your customers' needs changed? And we said right at the beginning of this series, it's all about that. You need to be communicating with your customer to find out where they are today and what they actually need. Just because you've had a business doesn't mean that customer now is the same customer nor going to demand or need the same items. So how is this impacting on your ability to create revenue? As we just said, if you're not getting the right product, you're not going to sell. And you need to look at the right products and the right ability, the right goods, the right services that are coming through. Can they supply that? If you're a service industry looking at people who are servicing you and they've got everybody stood down, then how can they assist you if they're your call center or they're your emergency IT team or whatever it may be, and they're scattered and don't have coordination and no plans to come back? Have they put in the right technology to make that efficient? These are the type of questions you've got to ask in your supply chain, or you've got to change it up because your business dollar is being spent every minute. Where are the supplies coming from? As we've said before, it's really, really important to understand where their supply chain is. If it's local, it's all around your area, that might be great. If the production is international, if you're getting product from China or India or anywhere in Asia or anywhere, what is that product? What is that travel and communication importing like at the moment for your product? For some, it might be okay. There are ships and planes coming in with the imports and exports, but what about your product? How often are they coming in? How difficult it is. The car industry, we hear this week, selling lots of cars. People are transacting, but their product and supply chain has been disrupted. There's not as many cars coming on boats from suppliers overseas. So there's becoming a shortage. So that might be artificially keeping prices in a good level right now. But what does that mean? If they have to fill more cars into a boat, does your product get affected, the one you need for your business? It's time for you to take a little bit of control as to what's going on. Really, really important. Your suppliers, how well are their existing facilities and supply lines set up to address the post-COVID regulations and expectations? We all have them. You may have to look at your physical distancing. You've got to look at your sanitation and what can happen. But what's happening to your products? Who's touching them? How well are they going to be sanitized? And what does that look like as you go down your supply chain? This is really, really important, because the more and more that we rely on overseas or international or interstate supplies to come, the more challenge or the more opportunity we have of bringing the pandemic across and actually more people becoming infected and with the virus. So we need to make sure that everybody is playing their part to make sure that you, your staff and your customer remain safe, secure and able to continue to create revenue, which is what this entire series is about. So I hope that makes sense too. Third up in our analyze section, third question we have is, what do you need to change up to allow your business growth? So as we've said, are your current suppliers and partners able to supply what is required for your new customer? And so once again, back in part 2, and I've been referring to, that's where we analyze our customers' behaviors, and there's some ideas in there as to how to do that. Once again, have your supply chain people change their businesses practice, especially with the new laws and regulations, and are their businesses secure in this challenged economy? You just got to ask the question, what are they doing? Are they on JobKeeper? Did they qualify for JobKeeper? If they're too big, what have they done? Are people stood down? How's their technology? If people are working out of the office or out of their factory or out of their shop, how are they working? How are they able to supply and come together and do the things that they need to do for you? You may also, if you've got some time at this point, explore alternative suppliers and partners if those particular supply lines seem a bit shaky. If those particular supply lines don't look so good. And here's a chance for you to take advantage of the current disruption to business to see if you can get better alternative supply chain at a better alternative rate. It's about business, and things have become very difficult. So what was doesn't necessarily have to be the same. It might be the same with your end product. You may, into the future, not be able to charge as much for your end product. If the economy all takes a hit, you may need to look at your own pricing, and we covered that in section 3, as to what you've got to do to keep your business going. Do you have to skinny your margins to make sure you make $1? So you've got to be aware that if that's the case, does everybody get a hit down the line with your supply chain? These are the questions that you've got to be working with. Next section we move into is the recommence. So we've been pivoted, we've looked at what we're doing, we've analysed where we are, and we've got to look at all these things about our supply chain. Now, what do we do right now? What are we got to do to recommence? Which products, services does your new customer need now? Can you restart immediately with the current supply chain? Yes. What have we got? And what's changed? What new technologies are now in play with you? What new technologies are now in play with your supply chain? What timelines are those deliveries on? And how regular are those deliveries? The delivery section at the moment seems to be pretty good if you're local, but what about down further? What about if it needs to come from other places? So that's what you need to do. What works now? So you come back to part 2 with the customer and say, well, this is what the customer needs. This is the product that I have. I need more of this product. Who can get it to me now? By the way, I don't need this product. It's sitting on my shelf. What can I do about that? It's actually out of date. Can we, what does that look like? Getting refunds, whatever that might be. The customers change what they wanted to do. This is happening everywhere. So you need to look at how you can turn your revenue dollar right now. And in the finance side or the cash flow side, in part 3, we looked at what you've got to do just to get $1 done now. Revenue is what it's about. Don't worry about the profit as much. Immediately get started, get going. Whatever you've been doing, add to it now. And if you've been doing takeaway and delivery, maybe you can do some sit down. But then again, you've got to look at the costs of that sit down and what's happening on with the restrictions that we've got. So how quickly do you come back, and what suppliers can bring you the right amount at the right time? So all of that's got to happen to make $1 right now. Once again, get it onto your plan for your recommence section, get it in there underneath the other subjects so that we can plan it and bring it all together towards the end. So recommence, what items can you action now in your supply chain? Which product service does your new customer need? So the next section, we're going to look at how we, when we reopen following lockdown, which products and services do we need? Following analysis of what the new buying patterns of the customer are. So what's the highest priority for you to be able to make that dollar immediately, to make a quick turnover of profit or quick turnover of revenue for quick sales? The more, the better. Behind that, you've got the marketing, which we've spoken about previously, to actually push out those products out to your current customer, your past customer, and to future customers out there that potentially your competitor hasn't been able to attract either because they haven't come out of lockdown quick enough or with the right product and haven't looked at their supply chain. This is where you've got an opportunity to take advantage of disruption. This is where business can really flourish. You've got to be brave, but you've also got to do your investigation. Start running now, cautious with your money, but be open and start to work with the customer that you've got through your database, through the customer that walks through the door, and then your future customer, which is through your marketing, advertising, through your Facebook, through socials, local area, whatever it might be that you need to do to bring your customer in, whichever type of business you are, small marketing or advertising or large marketing or advertising, depending on who you are. How fast can your suppliers resupply these products? It's really interesting. As we're speaking today, there's new supermarket shelves are being stripped of product again. And you look at that and we know that the supply for these products is out there. However, the supply chain just doesn't physically able to keep up with the amount of product that can be taken off the shelves when everybody takes the same product and takes too much of the same product. So what does that look like in your business? Are you the person who can sell all the toilet paper, but you're still set with all these items of products that still don't sell? If you're in a smaller organization, you want to be able to supply chain the product that's moving more quickly. So do you need another supplier in that supply chain? And really, you don't need any more supply of the product that nobody wants. And it might just be now, because we know that when things go back to normal, all the products sell at a normal rate back in the supermarket. However, right now, I want to be selling the toilet papers and the pastas and the products along there for the churn. But I want to be able to have them every single day in my pipeline. And that's a tough call, but that's what you're looking at when you're looking at how fast can your suppliers supply these products, because you're looking at churn. You want to make revenue. You want to be able to get back on and start to fill some of the holes that the last 12 weeks of lockdown have taken out of your cash flow. So can you restart immediately with your current supply chain? Do your suppliers have the right systems and are they the right suppliers you require? So you just want to deal with the ones that can get you the right product right now. What do you need to change up in your goods and services immediately to create revenue? So we've mentioned this, comes back to part 2, all wound together. Customer, where are their needs today? Supply chain, I need that supply now. Can you do it? I don't need that product. I need this product, so I need it from you, you, and you. And that's the way you might be going at and growing your particular business. What are your cash terms? And we looked at that in part 3. What are your cash terms looking like? What is your own cash supply looking like? But can you renegotiate? Is your customer paying you on terms? If you're a cash business across the counter, that's fine. But if are you a customer that has terms for your client, and what are your terms back to your supply chain? Can you add some extra time in there so that you can receive the product and delay payment back, but receive your payment forward? Just look after yourself. That's what this is about at the moment. Get you through the next section. About recommencing right now. Just negotiate you the best deal possible. If you can't, reach out for advice. So that's the best thing to do. Reach out for help. Someone can help you do that negotiation. Meanwhile, you may have some legal documentation that tie you into things. Let's see if we can't stretch that at the moment. Government regulation says everybody's there to help. So let's see who will help in your supply chain and give you some time to get going again. Once again, can your supplier replace out-of-date stock? Don't know. Depends what it is. What do your contracts say? Can you give it back to them? It hasn't been used because you haven't been open. So how do you dispose of this aged inventory? Is it just in the bin, or is there something in your contract that allows for this particular circumstance and allows you to go back? Or is it an insurance problem, and are the insurance company on board? So once again, check, ask for support, ask for expertise if you're not sure about that at all. Our third section, our third question in the recommence phase, how to make $1 now, is what items can you action immediately? And the question is, what has changed? What new technology, what timelines, what delivery? So do you have enough understanding of your supply chain and what's moving through that supply chain? And are there new systems, new prices in your supply chain management that you're not aware of that you need to find out about? So there might be some changes coming in your supply chain that can adversely or proactively affect your business. And so whatever's coming, you need to be aware of it. If it's bonus, fantastic. If it's adversely, you need to be able to manage that, change it up, or whatever it might be. Do your clients get the shutdown, lockdown period has been a huge growth in technology, in how things are done, remote working, new systems, new processes, new CRMs, whatever it might be out there. All this this time went into technological changes. And so we've got to have a look at what's happening. Are you up to date with where it all sits, or have you been left behind? So you need to really understand what you need to do now to actually change up. Also, you need to look at your cybersecurity, get expert advice in this because it's such a minefield. You've got to make sure your supply chain is also cyber safe, and then you, at the end of that, have the ability to reflect that cyber safeness. So it is really, really important because you can be exposed by the changes that some of your trading partners have made, and they mightn't even realize they're exposing you to it. So you really need to have a look at how that cross-pollination of information happens and what changes are there. Be really careful because we've seen and heard about some very, very disturbing attacks through technology into business, especially taking money, taking supply chain, taking data, whatever it might be that is valuable to the person looking to grab that. Then we're looking at, as I said, each piece of information that you need, that you understand or you learn about trying to get going now, will it assist or detract from your immediately revenue opportunities? Worry about the future at the moment, just get open and going. So take what you need to make that $1 happen, so then you can just got some income coming. And in the third section, where we're looking to enhance our business, we'll sit back and plan what to do next. Just run for now. I'd rather have some money coming in, even if you're not even covering your losses and your profit and loss. At least you're chipping away at it, and your loss is not so big. And we need to be prepared for when the government subsidies stop. At the moment, it's the end of September. If they continue on past that, what happens then? So you need to be prepared to get going, to be ready. And you need to be the business that survives. Doesn't matter, you may have to take your competition's business, but it needs to be you. So in our third section, it's the enhance section. What are we going to do to grow? What changes can you make in your business to enhance your current business? Who's going to be best to partner with in a post-COVID-19 world? Considering this is just going to continue for quite a while. So who is there? Who's made the changes? Who's made it easy? Who do you want to be with? Who's got the right product? Can they supply it in the right time at the right pricing? So this is the type of thing that we need to look at for the next 3, 6, 12 months. And that's a short-term turnaround while we're in this crazy period that we are with the pandemic. What do you need to do to become a better business yourself? Technology, automation. How much investment do you need? Can you cut some money out of your current cash flow to put into that investment to make it better? Invest to grow. This is about opportunity and revenue. It's about opportunity for growth. It's about opportunity for survival. It's not necessarily a period of time about opportunity for profit. It's now for later. So let's add into now, And the great advantage is there's a lot of people who need some work. There's a lot of people who've got time to help you, and they will be pleased to be working rather than expecting you to be paying top dollar. Use that. Sounds tough. That's your business that we're talking about here. You need to be able to survive. So use this. The dollar will run around the economy. Once again, each time, I just want to remind you, take your notes, put it under the prosper, enhance section. So we've got all the sections together. So what changes can you make to enhance your current business? As I said, in part 2, we've mentioned it many times, we analysed the customer, and we've discovered the customers have changed in most businesses, whether it be their travel patterns to work or not, whether it be how they're buying, what their needs are, where they're going, where they're not going, where they're going to go in the future, whatever it might be, their needs have changed. So we need to reach out and find out how that affects our business. Then we found that we've got to work out where are the best suppliers. If they're not our current suppliers, you need to engage new suppliers. You need to look at what they can do. Either add to your supplier list or start moving your supplier list across depending on your contracts. Get advice if you're not sure. But that's what we're looking at to do. Technology, are you up to scratch? Is your cybersecurity up to scratch? Cannot mention cybersecurity enough. There are some specialist cyber companies out there, engage them. What do you need to be to improve, to be competitive? If you're in the service industry, everything's gone online. With this webinar series, this is online. We weren't doing this 12 weeks ago. We were face-to-face in small groups, with small companies, in libraries and in small areas in your council, in your local area. Now we're doing this across a larger audience because there's more people who are looking to have an understanding of where they are. The most amazing things about this series that I'm seeing, people who are established business owners who've done it all before, who know they've got established business, and now going, oh my goodness, my business is not there. I'm coming back at 20% revenue. I'm coming back at 30% revenue. What have I got to do to obtain that other 60, 70%? And the thing is, this secure business, but the customer has changed their needs and wants, and we haven't pivoted. Now is the time. Make sure that your suppliers and their pipelines are on your team with the right product. Also, does your system give you enough warning of product shortages? So let's go back to the clearing of supermarket shelves. It's pretty hard, but from our point of view as a consumer, we look at empty shelves. From the supermarket's point of view, they're looking into their supply lines to see what that supply looks like and how long it will take them to refill those shelves and where they are. So they've had a chance once. This is second chance. There should be no problems with a third chance. There should be supplies built in warehouses. We know what's going to happen third time around. It will come. And then we will be able to plan. So in your business, if you're selling, I don't know, if you're a frontline business and you're selling product, tons and tons of hand sanitizer for 10 weeks, and then it stops, and you're caught with all this hand sanitizer, which I've seen in some businesses, and then all of a sudden we have another run. So what we want to do is work out what those patterns are. You want to be able to pick up the phone and say, I need the hand sanitizer for this period of time now. And your consumer and your supply chain need to react to that. That's new world. That's new stuff. Don't just react to the consumer. Be proactive and ready to go. When the consumer changes their pattern again, you're ready the next day with your supplier because you had a plan. You're first off the cab. You've got the communication going. So does your current system give you enough warning of product shortages? So then you want to go back into your supply chain and say, well, what are you going to do if this happens? What are you going to do? How are you going to supply me? How are we going to work? So really, really important that your trading partners are also aware and able to be proactive in their reaction. We look at, what does your business look like in a post transition period, post-September, government subsidies go away. How are you faring? JobKeeper's gone, the BAS support's gone, the loans are gone. You've got to start paying your mortgages. You've got to start paying your rent again. What happens with your business? You need that revenue. It's a fine balance in a constricted economy, and you may need to fight really, really hard to be part of that. The next question, question 2, who will be your best partner with post-COVID? We've covered a lot of this. How do you manage your supply chain? Who are the best people in that particular supply chain to partner and collaborate with? Are they all necessary? They may no longer be necessary, or people or their products or the actual supply chain that you have may no longer be necessary with the new consumer demands. So work out what you need to do there. Collaboration opportunities. Instead of being a servant-master relationship with supply chain, maybe you can work together to fill those supermarket shelves, whatever it may be, in your business, to work with your suppliers in a collaborative way. And can you negotiate pricing? I mean, how important are you to their business? Your revenues are going to get skinnier. Your turnover might be less. Your dollar value of a product might be less. You might just need to be surviving to get out there, as you're going to ask your suppliers to do. Everybody needs to take a hit. The economy is going to be tough. Prices may not be going up. They might be going in reverse. We haven't seen that a lot in our country. Be prepared, be proactive, get on the front foot, keep your little net profit as strong as you possibly can. Finally, how can you invest in your business's supply chain? Really, really interesting. How do you become a better business? Look at your technology, and we're going to look at that over the next 2 series or 2 webinars that we've got. Having a look at that with our staff technology and also with our place of work technology. So that's our next 2 webinars. And how can you invest in the business supply chain management to better mitigate future risk? So whether that be automation, new technology, collaboration, new safety methods, new standards of product, new standards of supply, whatever it might be, you need to understand what's going to happen so you, at the end user, have the ability to move and do what you need to do to churn dollars. And what does that look like over the next 3, 6, 9 months, 12 months? People and property. What changes in facilities and layout to your actual work site do you need to make your people safe? Where are your people today? Some in the office, some in your shop, some in your factory, some working remotely. Is that available? Is that possible? Can you still keep them safe? Can you still manage with the COVID-19 regulations that have come across Australia? Can you, do your suppliers have the same ability? Which suppliers can do it? Which ones can't? Do you know? Yes, you need to find out who you're going to partner with into the future so that they've got better technology, better automation, better collaboration to keep your people safe in an area environment that you can all work with. You've got to take control of that pipeline. Otherwise, you're just reacting to everybody else. And then your business is vulnerable to everybody else's movements. So ladies and gentlemen, react, improve, prosper. This is the end of part 4. We've been talking about our supply chain, our partners in that supply chain. But where we go into the improve phase, so we have the how a business, so we have our react phase, and we have our improve phase and our prosper phase. And when we're in the improve phase, this will determine the future of your business. Your customers, your staff, your suppliers, your competitors will all be watching how you handle coming back to work and improving your business so that you can prosper into the future. So we'll look at how you're going to react, what you're going to do with the improve, and how to prosper in your business. So that's what we're looking at over this series. As I said, the customer themselves have been watching, and the customer is driving our change. The staff, suppliers, and competitors watching what you're doing, and it's very, very important. I said this improve phase will determine your business. And so we'll analyze where we can reflect, restart, and revitalize each of the sections in your business as we come together. That's part 4 of a 6-part webinar series. So take them together, take them apart. I said part 2, the client, looking at the client customer is really important. But thank you for joining me today. Thank you for your time. As I said, I'm David Coleman. Our series is called React, Improve, Prosper. If you need to discuss it further, my details are there. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in part 5. And I hope you are keeping well, keeping safe, and your business is strong.